thank you all for coming and joining us. We are the Gulf Coast Virtual Community of Practice, which means we're from here, from there, from everywhere. Is anyone, Mike, you're in Florida. I know you're close to Pensacola. Is anyone else actually near Pensacola? Or do we all live remote?
I'm from Michigan,
Okay.
so I'm a ways away from you.
Yeah,
California.
I thought you were in California. Anybody further than California? I'm in Alabama, so is Nicole, so yeah. Amy is in Midwest somewhere. I'm not quite sure. She can share that later if she wants to. All right. Well, today we're going to talk about AI again. We did a session in March where we talked about, for Career Cafe, about how to build our career using AI-powered tools. And there's a lot of introductory things going on that we talked about, prompting and some other things. Things have changed a lot since then. It's amazing how much they've changed. And so for this session, I wanted to move it just a little further down the road. Instead of being solely about like resumes and interviews and job search strategies, look at it from the point of view of, okay, we're in a career, or even if you're not quite in your career yet, it's still beneficial, but how is this impacting my job, or how will it impact my job? And how can I identify those things and then prepare myself for it? And we want to give you Mike is going to share a real life case study with some clients that he's working with right now. But we'll get to that in just a second. I'm going to go ahead and, so we're going to use our Miro board. I'm going to share my screen. You can feel free to hop on over. I'll meet you there. On the Miro board, I have the items numbered. I try to always make it as easy as possible, just in case you've not ever used a Miro board. So, just follow the numbers. I'll make sure to call things out. If there's any time where I want you to be with me on the board as the host, I can use a little tool called Bring Everybody to Me, and you'll just quickly, automatically go, zoop. You'll be transported through space and time, and you will be standing right next to me. It will be really amazing. So as I said, we're the Gulf Coast chapter. We've got a few things that are coming up really soon. Do you want me to announce those, Nicole, or do you want to do that? I don't want to jump over.
Your choice. You want to save your voice, or you go right ahead?
Nah, I'm fine. The 12th of September is going to be our next event. We have, it's titled, It Takes a Village. And this is going to be really cool because this is like a crossover, cross-organizational event. It's going to be with our chapter, with AECT, their Organizational Training and Performance Division, as well as ISPI, their academic team, and the Community Service Project team. Casey Goulet is going to lead that. She's on works with both of those projects. So it's going to be this huge cross-organizational collaborative event where we talk about a lot of things, but a lot of it's about how instead of competing for everything, sometimes the real magic is to bring the village together and to really put our efforts and energies together to build relationships, build our networks, and just to develop ourselves professionally and personally. 13th of September, we are going to be on ISPI Live, and it's basically going to be the same topic tonight. So I guess you guys are like a trial run for me. I don't know, but that'll be pretty cool. This will be the new kickoff for this year's ISPI Live. So I'm really excited about that. And then Amy, who is on with us, and her good friend Nick are going to talk about human-centered design in Addie. They presented this at the conference in May, and it was amazing. Amy, do you want to say anything about it?
Sure, happy to. So we will go over the intersection of human-centered design and the Addie model that we all know and love, and how HCD really complements Addie and speaks to the human element of training that we develop.
It's really cool. And they did a project together and won an award at the conference, human-centered, which was Human Performance Intervention Award for their work that this talk is is centered around. Okay, did I forget anything else? I feel like I'm talking fast. Is it like, so you take 10 days where you don't talk and then you just talk? All right. So we're going to zoom over to number 2. You may already be there. So let's take just a minute. I put together a whole collection of robots. You can choose your favorite. And I really wanted to do a build your own robot thing, but you know how hard it is to find graphics of robot parts that will work? It's very hard. So you get to choose from clothes and accessories. Ignore whatever's going on at the bottom of the screen. I don't know where that Viking came from and how it got a phaser, but anyway. Why don't you take a couple minutes and just design a robot, build a robot, but also take a sticky and introduce yourself. Share anything you want to. Some of us know each other, but some of you are new faces to me. So let's take just 3, 4, 5 minutes and see what we can come up with.
Gotta love robots.
For some reason, it's not giving me editing rights. I don't know if anybody else has that as well.
Yeah, I was getting the same
Try it
thing.
now.
Yeah, I can't edit either.
I see you all flying around there. Can you edit now?
Hey, I just want to ask something real quick. Am I the only one who hear Miss McBain's audio a little bit weird, or it's everybody? Just to know if I got to just disconnect and connect again.
It
I
sounds
haven't
like
noticed a
me.
problem.
How am I?
Actually, Mike, now you sound a little tinny. Speak again.
How about now? Do I sound okay? I can put on a headset. Look even cooler.
I mean, I can hear everybody okay, but Lane McBain, I just
Let me try again.
like a robotic voice. I don't know,
A robotic voice. That's
like very far away. I'm gonna disconnect and connect again just in case.
okay.
All right.
All right, thanks for that.
Mhm.
Wow, you guys are creative. Yeah, I threw the little one with the mean face on there at the last minute. It was like, oh, this might be fun.
Is that better for my audio now?
Yes.
It is.
Okay, thanks. Sometimes the headset just works better. You can never tell which one's going to be the one for the day.
I don't know which is more fun, building my robot or watching all of these cursors move all over the place.
I know. If it's too distracting, I can turn that off so that you don't see everyone's cursor. If you want an item and it's not there anymore, you can just go and click on your item and hit right click and you can duplicate so you can make a copy of it. Oh my goodness, who has this person in the bottom with the wizard hat and the pink skirt?
That's me.
That is hilarious. Oh my goodness. Oh, so fun. I'll give you another couple minutes. Then you have to introduce your person because I have to know who did what. This is too funny.
Generally, AI works a lot better than this.
Yeah. This is true. Some days I was using it at work today and I thought I was asking a simple question. I gave it plenty of examples and instructions and it would not do what I wanted it to do. I got frustrated and just turned it off. it's the challenge. I wanted it to write something shorter. And I don't know, I just couldn't communicate what I wanted, I guess. Oh my, the one in the bottom left with the red hat and the giant glasses.
That's me.
It's not showing my name either, and they had me sign in with my name.
So that is absolutely hilarious. I have the little guy with the bowler hat and the brown mustache, and then the red-haired person. Oh my, we've got some pros coming up in here getting a
I'm
jetpack going.
a little yellow robot with its hands raised.
I have that one. I did that one too.
Ooh, I think was it Mike who got really fancy bringing in your own
Yeah,
image.
Yeah, I was just having a little bit too much fun. Of course, I'm using AI to do that stuff, but the
yeah.
transparency background didn't work.
Miro is supposed to have an update some point in the future where they have some built-in AI so that it'd be, I think the way I understand it, it'd be like, have you seen Gemini on Google where it's kind of built right in there and you can do certain things with it? But that would be kind of cool because then you could just create your images right there in Miro instead of having to go and upload and do it somewhere else. That'd be really kind of cool. Kalamazoo, Michigan. Hi, Connie.
Hello.
Um,
Yeah, how did you create all these little, this is kind of fun in a way. I mean,
yeah.
just gives you a creative outlet
Mm-hmm.
and a way to introduce yourself.
Yeah. And if you have days like sounds like we've had all day, it's nice to play with robots at the end of the day. All right. Anybody else want to introduce themselves? I think I have, so we said Connie, we said hello to Lizette, Mike, we've already, yeah, we got Mike covered. And Amy, so Roberto's down there. Nicole is, Nicole is rocking that cool, tie-dye
Yeah.
shirt.
Looks like that candy that has that swirl on it.
Yeah.
Exactly. I was going to go with the Grateful Dead t-shirt, but I think the
Oh,
candy is
that makes
more
sense.
accurate.
Well, my little robot is there. My name is all over, but my robot is there.
Yep, I see a robot there.
Somebody has an invisible robot. I like that.
Oh. All right. Paul, with your mustache. That's really cute. You got it. All right. Ready to skin. There we go. And I'm gonna let you guys go ahead and finish that up. If you're still working on your robot, take your time. We're gonna jump over to number 3, which is the meeting room. And for the meeting room, I want to just get a gauge of where you see yourself on this AI superhighway. Are you a newbie? Do you feel like you're a wizard, an expert, or you're somewhere in between? So take your choice of vehicles. Tried to find as many as I could. If you can either, yeah, just put it on the road wherever. There are a couple of fun options down there if you're really creative like me and want to break the rules. So somebody is cruising towards wizardry. And,
How do I make it go the right direction? Okay.
it can't flip. So that's one of my complaints about Miro is you can't flip your images.
Okay.
So
Well, that says something. I'm going backwards. Okay.
yeah, I know. Yeah, you could turn it upside down. I used every search term and then there were stickers and emojis. But that's it. You just want to be high above it all. You can just fly in your plane. So it looks like we've got some who feel like this is brand new, some who maybe are driving the wrong direction towards the newbie. And then we've got someone who has an RV, they've packed up everything and are heading toward wizardry. And so it looks like about even number of people have either experience or knowledge. And tonight we're mostly talking about generative AI, which is going to be like ChatGPT, Copilot, or Claude. There are numerous types of platforms and applications that people use every day, but that's way outside the scope of what we're going to talk about tonight. So, oh, here comes a little red SUV. And Mike, of course, Mike, that's right. Jetpack. That's too
There's a theme going on there later that you guys will see how crazy it's become.
funny.
Oh my gosh, so much fun.
I
I
got
love
you,
playing
Mike.
with these
I'm
things.
coming for you right here with my giant laser gun.
Ah,
You got to fix that up for me, aren't you? Make it
No,
work better.
oh. No, that's pretty fine. Nope. Okay. All right. Let's jump on down to the presentation. You can just select that little arrow. We'll go ahead and get started. And everybody leave for the moment. Okay. So we're going to start looking at this. Like I said a minute ago, we talked about this in March, and we went through and, everybody that came to the session, we did all these fun interactive things. And at the end, when we talked and shared, everybody felt like, wow, this is great. I feel like I've learned so much and I've advanced so much. And then I did a similar talk at the conference in May for ISPI, same kind of thing. It's when I came back to try and relook at everything to prepare for this session, I was like, wow, okay, I think I need to go back to school because things have changed so much since we first did this in March to September or to August, not quite September yet. There's a quote at the very top that I won't read it all to you, but over the past 8 years, and this is before we just in November of 2021 or 2 saw ChatGPT hit the market. But just in 8 years, there's been 323% increase in demand for AI technical talent. And as performance improvement professionals and instructional designers, we fall under an umbrella of technical talent because a lot of our work does involve working with technical products of one sort or the other. And from the tools that we use to develop products all the way to interventions. And we may have to recommend or investigate technical interventions. So this is a pretty shocking statistic. The demand for new AI skills increased by 65%. That's over the past 5 years. And I've got a link. This is a very fascinating report that down below. I think it's down below. I've got a link for all of that. So if you want to go and read through all those wonderful pages, you can. I won't go through that as well as this 2024 Work Trend Index Annual Report, which the two screens are showing. You can just see this really addresses how people are using AI in their work. And it's specifically talking about generative AI, Claude, Copilot, and ChatGPT, as well as the employers. So if you just look at the top chart, you know, how people use their AI. The majority are using it to research and try new prompts, to experiment with different ways, or even before starting the tasks, I ask myself, can AI help me with this? And then, of course, you've got your sliders, you can look at that. That's power users all the way down to skeptics. So how does it impact the work? And then the statistics are showing it helps people be more creative and productive and helps them to focus on the most important work. That's one thing that I guess over the last 2 months, I've really started using my AI. Is when things get like they have been for the last probably 2 months at work, and I have so many things going on, and then so many things going on with private ventures like Gulf Coast Chapter, ISPI, just work life or personal life. I've gone on and said, hey, I need help making sense of this. I need help to prioritize and even rank things. You know, I asked just last week, I asked the AI to help me to estimate times for working on certain projects and certain things so that I could better allocate my time for these different projects. So that's a really cool thing, is to see that I'm not the only person that's doing that. But for the sake of our conversation, the report showed 66% of leaders, these are businesses, are saying now, I think this report is just within the last month, they would not hire someone who did not have AI skills. The report goes through and talks about what does that mean exactly. It doesn't mean that you have to be that superpower user, but you have to be familiar enough with an AI tool so that you can go into the tool, create a prompt, you know, ask it the right question in the right kind of way in order to get the result that will help you with your work. 77% of those leaders are saying that it's people that are new coming in, those early career talent, they want you to have even more abilities, and they'll give you greater responsibilities toward it. And then, of course, 71% are less likely, are more likely to hire a less experienced candidate who has those AI skills with them. I mentioned this at our last meeting, just the increase of job ads and things that I've seen about requesting AI skills, but this is actual data from you know, a full report that somebody completed, not just me looking at LinkedIn or Indeed. So let's talk about it quickly. Maybe get a drink of water. Specifically in performance improvement and instructional design, how are we using or will be using, you know, what type of impact is this artificial intelligence going to have on our jobs? Well, performance improvement, there are applications in every aspect of the work, from the analysis. And if you look at the performance improvement HPT model, you can just chart it out all the way across that spectrum. For the analysis phase, I mean, beyond generative AI, like Copilot or ChatGPT, there are specific tools for data mining and pattern recognition. I sat in a meeting introducing a new tool that's strictly for professional associations. It's been targeted for but it's called Sensei AI, and what it does is, it's the coolest thing. I wish I had the money for it. You can take all of your data that you collect for your association and plug it in, and it will do all the data analytics. It will create dashboards for you. If you don't know what to analyze or how to analyze it, the AI will help you work through that as well. I mean, it's a beautiful product. It makes your life so much easier when you're trying to analyze data. You can also use it to create, to help with your intervention design, help with your intervention research. As a performance improvement specialist, we don't know everything about everything. And so you may have a client that needs a certain solution and it's way out of our depth. Well, now you can tap in and start the brainstorming process, the research process with your AI tools, project management tools. Same thing in instructional design. I have a lot more experience using it in instructional design because that's what I do in my work. I'm a lead ISD, and I use it for all the things. Developing outlines, helping to sharpen and revise objectives. In the last couple of months, it's all been about proposals, responding to RFPs, and I'll tell you that Claude AI has been my good friend because Claude can help me make sense of things and has helped me to develop my technical writing skills, which were atrocious. There's a big difference, if you're not aware, between academic writing and technical writing. So thank you very much to Claude for helping me with that. There are tools out there and platforms that can do, we always talk about sequencing, we talk about adaptive learning for for depending on the student and the learner's progress, intelligent tutoring, all of it's there. So I'm not going to continue on with that. Let's point out this link here, AI training recommendations for 47 jobs. That's part of the report, that AI-enabled workforce consortium report that was put together in part with Cisco and Microsoft and a lot of other companies. So take a look at all those. And then, if you ever have questions or anything, you can always ask me. But I want to move us on along over to number 5.
Hey, Lynn, I have a question.
Yes.
And you may get to this, so forgive me if I'm getting ahead. But I came back from ISPI so inspired by your presentation and just how you immersed us in using the thing and how fun it was to do. And then I was able to really convert that fun to like business, right? To really think about the functionality. I got back and I was really motivated. And I was like, okay, team, let's dive into using this. This is how we can do it. And then I forgot to use it. I mean, just in all honesty, it just did not become a part of my routine, a part of my toolkit that I could access easily. And because of course, being on the government side of things, we're very limited in the tools that we can use, and how we can translate even something from my MacBook over into, my GFE. And so, do you have any advice for me and others like me? I'm sure I'm not the only one who's like, oh, new technology. I'm so excited. And then it just falls out of my wheelhouse. Any advice on that? And then I have another question after that.
Okay. So if so I like to play around with things more than they should be. That was just why I probably had 3 or 4 of those little robots up there. If it's using it, that I would just put, I don't know, a sticky or something. Start your day. Start with something small and simple, like when you get up in the morning, ask it to help you with a menu for the week, something that's probably not work related. It's really easy, that you don't have to create a complicated prompt to use. Just an everyday task. Or Mike, he likes to create images with it. I don't do a lot of that.
Yeah, I've done a lot of that.
Just do something like that and then start. I know we have the same type of restrictions with work. And I do use the AI with my work. A lot of it, I have to be very generic. If, depending on what I'm asking, I'm always very careful, not to put anything out there that I shouldn't put out there. So, that makes it a little bit more challenging, because if I were working for somewhere else, I could just upload a document, that I'm working on and ask the AI to review it for me. But, and then I always have, I'll show you a copy of, I have a directory that I keep, continually build, with AI prompts. Always putting more and more in there. And so if I have a new situation or a new thing come up, I'll just go hop over here and grab a prompt. Let's see, let me move you guys out of the way. This is my tool Notion. And I don't know how to make all of the little marks go away. But I have this huge cheat sheet. I have all the different prompts for most of the things that I need it to use it for work or for personal or whatever. Like I've got conducting a needs assessment, some debugging, so I have to do things with SWARM files and things like that. So this is really helpful for me. Even sometimes when I know how to write the prompt, I just don't want to have to type all that out. And so I'll just come over and grab it and pull it over from my little file. Those are the biggest things, I think. And it's just keep playing with it.
I love that. Thank you so much. You really hit the nail on the head when you said have it play in a menu, because that's something that I did not do this week. We took a little mini vacation and came back, and I totally missed that. I thought, oh my gosh, as soon as you said that, I thought, oh, the menu would be done, right? Like the family menu. Thank you so much. That really helps to put it into perspective and make it feel manageable to integrate a new tool. The other thing I'm thinking about is I haven't seen the tier 1 performance, the learning trends report come out for 2024 yet. But I'd be really interested to see the difference between the 2023, as you were saying, like just in those few months since we were at the conference, and now the change that's happened in the stats around AI and the availability and all the tools. I bet you in the tier 1 report, if we keep our fingers on the pulse of that, we're going to see similar.
I agree. And I look forward to that too. I mean, it's just, at some point we have to reach a level to where things are going to stop being just a, what's the, I can't remember the principle of the rule. It used to say every 2 years, the technology was going to recreate.
Moore's Law.
Yes, Moore's Law. Thank you. That's my maiden name. I should know that.
Lynn,
I think it's
could
like
you
every 2 weeks.
I'm sorry, Lynn. Could you comment a little bit about on the strategy you use for building your cheat sheet?
It was kind of, it evolved based on using it. At first, it was just a little spreadsheet, and I just listed things out, and I started trying to put them in categories, and then when it just, I don't know, it just evolved based on my own use and the way that I would find things. I had to play around with it. It's probably like, I don't know, the 10 or 15th iteration of it. And I found for now that having it organized by it's not necessarily the category you would think. It's more like the categories for the tasks that I do. So if I'm doing front end scoping for a project, then I've got a whole bunch of prompts that are there that you might look at them and go, wait a minute, those are not in the same category, but they are for me because of the things that, the tasks that I need to do. If you're just starting it out, I just start with a spreadsheet and make sure you have good keywords and things so that when you need something, you can search it and it will pull it right up. That's the big time saver, is tagging. And I forget to tag. I get lazy sometimes, but tags are huge.
And even if your organization won't let you do AI within your organization, at some point they will. And so doing AI on your own and building a set of resources that you can refer to, so when they turn it on at work, you can get going way faster than a lot of other people will.
Oh yeah, definitely. Anybody else have a question before Mike pops on? We can talk about how this works in the real world.
Lynn, just pointing out a few things from the chat. Mike is saying to make it something fun and what's something you like doing but don't have time. AI can help with that. I love that. And then you showing Mike how to talk to AI was a game changer. I put a little 100 because it's totally the same for me. I walked out being like, I think I could do this. Feel confident. And then Mike is explaining how he uses makes a workshop for adult Sunday school on the book, The Power of Fun. And then took the recording of the workshop and had AI transcribe it and look for improvement to the workshop. That is so cool. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah, then I had it play Bob Pike and Tiagi, and as if it was them, because I knew how to do that role and give me feedback from their perspective, because Bob's gone. And I really did play the role really well. It told me things they would have done and things they would have improved.
Wow.
And those are conversations that are, neat to have, because you can do that with anybody. What would Einstein think of this? Well, so I mean, because I like what I do for a living, and I think most of you guys do too. And who would you talk to in your field if you could? If you have real data, you could present to them and then get back feedback. I'm happy to share that chat with somebody if they want to see it. But it was really enjoyable from a nerd perspective for me. It wasn't for anybody else, but I just want to see what I could do.
Mike, I would love to see it. It's like having it, like if you invite an SME to a one-on-one, like amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I didn't like what they had to say. I didn't like what it did sometimes, but yeah, I let the workshop go off course a lot.
Yeah.
But,
And you can use, I have Copilot that I keep on my phone, and I use it a lot. I've been using it more in place of a search engine. For example, I had an orthopedic appointment this morning for meniscus tear. So I pulled it up and turned it on and said, hey, I have an appointment for an orthopedic ortho appointment. What can I expect? What are they going to do? Is it going to hurt? Are they going to give me shots? Just crazy stuff. I also have, just looking at it, can you help me find some breathing techniques to help me relax when I'm stressed? Okay. I need some ideas, some shade plants for my patio. I mean, just that's an easy way to get into it. It's just to practice it, using it with just like common everyday kind of things, menu planning, interview planning, things that are just real simple and you don't have to, again, prompting is the key to everything, but sometimes it's nice to just not have to type a whole paragraph prompt in order to get an answer to a question. So anyway, anybody else have a question before we
Yes, I mean, it's all fascinating, but my question that keeps coming up, particularly with the medical question, for example, is how do you know when the information that the Gen AI tool is giving you is valid?
Yeah,
it's wrong a lot. Yeah, I will tell you that. I double check it through two or three systems, just to see what the other one says. It will hallucinate though in ways. I had a conversation with them about a book today. It was making up chapters in the book. I had the book in my hand. I was like, that's not a chapter. I was trying to find something in it. But the thing is, when you use it professionally and you know your field, like our field, when I go through the example, I'll show you things you can do to make it do the job you want it to do. And it's just a starting point though to help you with that. So if you ask a medical questions you don't know for sure, but I had to have a varicocele, and I mean, not that anybody ever wants to have one of those, but it walked me through all the things I could expect and walk through that. And I double checked it all with my doctor, but I was a lot smarter when I walked in.
Yeah. And you can ask it too. I mean, that's a extremely valid question. I asked it to recommend a place for us to have dinner, and it gave me a restaurant that not only wasn't there, it had never existed before. So, but I've gone in and asked it to check its work.
Yes.
Go back and review, take it, key phrases, take it one step at a time. Just add that in and say, hey, can you go back and check these results and just take it one step at a time to make sure that everything that we're discussing is accurate, or however you want to term it. But yeah, thank you for bringing that up. And that's something we always have to be aware of, is that it can hallucinate is the term for it, but it can give you false information. All right, Mike, I think it's up to you.
Yeah, I'll be happy to talk about that, because I'll start with something on that one just for you guys. So the results I got here were like 1 + 1 = 2. The next time I went back to reproduce the thing in Claude, they had changed the Claude interface. And so I was getting 1 + 1 = chicken. It was very frustrating. I've already told the client some of these results. I walked through it. I double checked it. Let's just say the client was like, let's think of them as an auditing company that has very specialized skills they want their people to be able to do with math. and they trained them how to do these skills, and then they weren't coming out to be the way they expected. So that's how you can sort of think about what the client was. So I walked through their a lot of their data, and there's a link to the data there, but let me put the PDF, which actually has it formatted a little better. I'll put it right there. I'll just drop it in. It'll drop in. I think it did. But anyway, so what do we have here? Let me zoom in on it for you. So basically, we had this question that the client already knew this. The client said, I've got these people getting trained. I have a Likert scale that's telling me these people are great when they're coming out. This is what they thought they had. They said, I've got almost 94% success rates when people are coming out and saying they're right. Then AI looked at it a little bit and they said, well, you know what? Because you guys have already, I can get really nerdy with this here. You know the difference between qualitative data and quantitative data. So crunching numbers is really hard. I mean, no, it's not. But doing the words and the comments and the written comments and going through those and figuring out what the trends are takes a long time. What would have taken me probably somewhere between 20 and 40 hours of work, I was able to do with AI in a day. I was able to put in all the written comments that were already, they were already processed through, have it parse out the comments, and then have it put the comments in different trends and categories to see where the problems were coming from the course. Then use those comments and look at those compared to what was down here, which was what's really going on. 20% of the comments are negative and some of them are positive. That's what AI is telling me. But then when you're an instructional designer or you've done analysis before and you're really doing performance consulting or an ISPI professional, you're like, are all those comments really negative or do they have good comments in them? And I hated the instructor and these things were good in the course. Or the course was great and this guy felt like he was not paying attention and cooking food while he was talking online. And those were actually what some of the comments were. So even the course that even the content I was getting from the analysis was not coming out to be correct. So it took a little bit more looking at it from discovering what it was, as I would call a professional in instructional design or analysis or performance improvement, where you really look at the data you're getting back. And then you have negative comments and positive comments. And then you still push the software back. And what I mean by pushing the software back, when you just put those two together, you're like, well, let's really look at the Likert scale data. Is there survey fatigue going on here? And then you have the AI I did have the AI do the analysis with survey fatigue and in the little report. I wonder if I can bring that up. Let me see if I can just grab the picture for you. I'll grab this one. When you start to
share your screen.
No, I'm not going to share the screen. I'm just going to grab the picture from the report if I can.
If you select, if anybody's looking at it on the screen, if you click on the report, it'll pop up a bar.
It'll pop up, but I'll just drop it in here.
And you can scroll through, the different.
I'll just drop this one in here because when I started looking at what the people were doing and what they were saying related to, did you like the course? Did you not like the course? Because if you guys don't, I'm sure you guys already know this, but there's real evidence showing that surveys are becoming really not useful anymore. Unfortunately, Wall Street Journal even did an article on it. So when you hear things like that, you're like, okay, are Likert scales really useful anymore? Are we really getting what we want out of it? I'll make this a little bit bigger for us. And so we took a deeper look at this data and we started to see that 55% of them strongly agreed. Then they disagreed, and then they started dropping off. The rate of no opinion started becoming higher and higher after day. And I sort of tried to put in a pie chart. So then you start wondering, is the data in the Likert scale, when you start seeing straight lines all the way down, the tool's not designed correctly to catch the responses that you can write to have different responses? Is this tool even being accurately assessed right? But your qualitative data analysis that the AI can do for you can really show you where the comments come out to be positive and negative. And then we weighted it and found out what was going on. And like I said, this stuff would cost too much usually for anybody to want to do. It would just take too much time. It would take too much of a process to do it. And you can look through the report and see what we did. I mean, there was like 3,000 points of data that we went through. And then we looked at that and then we put charts and trends and we actually gave them back all the quotes together. And all that stuff would take a long time, but it really lets you see from what we love as data being a data nerd, and looking at how it can be parceled out and what we can do with it, and having somebody do that for you who could be an assistant. I can stop chatting about it a little bit now, but I will say that before I go on, that pushing back on the AI system and having it repeat the steps, what Lynn talked about before, is writing down the steps you use are very important, because if you'll keep that in another document and do it again, then if the AI changes, you can go back and see what was going on. For Claude, I've got another friend who does research on AI systems. He listens to 3 hours of podcasts a day. Claude was not performing as fast as the company wanted it to. So they took all my data that I put back into it to test it and did sampling instead of all the data analysis. And sampling data can be way different. That's 1 + 1 = chicken than what I was getting before, which was all the stuff of 1 + 1 = 2. So I was only getting sampling data back, which was skewed and didn't do a standard deviation on the sampling data, which became very frustrating of why it was doing that. So if you are going to use one of these systems, know what you did, be able to parcel out the pieces and then be able to pull it back. But does it make sense what I found? And I'm going to stop talking so you guys can ask questions. And if there aren't questions, I can tell bad AI jokes about.
Oh, I'd love to hear bad AI jokes, but again, the question is, so now it becomes a little bit more difficult and time consuming to look at the results that the AI engine gave you, and how do you know that there aren't hallucinations in there?
You start telling it to tell it to do downloadable Excel tables of what it analyzed, and it will do that for you. And then you can go back and look at it. You ask very specific questions, like, so let's go with the frustration where I lost I think all the rest of my hair with the 1 + 1 = chicken. So I'm going, I have the quotes here. I know this is not right. It can't even find the quotes. And I asked, I said, what did you do? I couldn't ask what I did last time because I couldn't remember that, because it starts over with a new conversation every time. And I maxed out Claude. I was using Claude at the time. I maxed out the amount of responses I could have in one conversation with Claude. So I put it back in. I said, what are you seeing with all the comment data? And how could you say that it's this positive from comment data when I have these 3 comments that I already knew before? It said, well, I didn't look at those. I was taking a sample. I was like, stop taking samples and go through all the data and then start parsing them out, and don't just put them in a one or other category. Take it and take the pieces out and put it in multiple categories, because it was taking the comment data and putting in a yes, no category instead of saying it could be in multiple categories. And that's where the steps would have been helpful if I would have written them down before and I had to reback and figure that, because that would be easy for a human to do, to know that. And you could teach the AI to do that, but you just have to know to ask for it to do that again. So that's where I was getting the different data, is it did one or the other, when it really could be the instructor, the class was great and this instructor was terrible because that, or the class was great and the technology stopped halfway through for an hour and we had to get on our cell phones and call in and had to do a group phone call. So that kind of stuff needs to be parceled out, where the same comment can have 5 of those things in there. It needs to be in 5 different areas and 5 different trends of what needs to be improved for the course. And telling the AI to do that is easy, but not knowing the AI had changed its mind on how it was doing data was very hard. And then asking for the data back in Excel table was very helpful for that. And then actually had to highlight what was under the category of technology improvements, what written comments were there, and it would group that stuff back for me when I asked. And I mean, anybody who's had to do data analysis before knows that takes a long time for a person to do. I mean, that is a 40-hour work week there, or it's an intern, or it's a new hire, a data analyst. And consulting people don't want to pay for that. Right. But they knew intuitively, the course was wrong.
I'm wondering, and thinking about analyzing qualitative data in terms of like level 3 evaluation, there's a little bit of a human check there. We tend to do interviews for our level 3s. We don't get a great response rate on people who are willing to interview, but we get really great data from the ones who are. Yep. And as a human check is if I have sat in on all of those interviews, and then I haven't done this yet, but I'm imagining if I were to have the AI, give me some analysis of that, the synthesis of it, I could probably check that pretty quickly, having been in all the interviews. And I'm like, okay, my human heard this trend that really stuck out to me as a researcher, and that's not showing up here, or something else is showing up here. Let me dig in a little bit and do a little bit more of a human check on that.
And I think the human check is critical. I think I went to a seminar last week from a guy who did a talk on AI. He said, AI is not going to take our job, but it's going to make us do our jobs much better. And you're going to take somebody else's job who doesn't use AI. You're going to still need to do your job and be in those interviews. But I will tell you that we did interviews too. Some of the data I was going through was exit interviews, and those of a course 3 months later, you could tell that there was something wrong with the course. It wasn't working right. But then we had a person go through the course who was like he was a new, I'd call him mid-level executive, not a senior executive. He went through the course. He said, this course has these screw ups in it, because he had just gone through it. And they were reflecting back what we'd already found. And the AI data analysis really helped us show us how much that was a problem. And it pulled out those quotes that were exactly what he had felt, or we were feeling, and you can get from the interview, and it'll do that for you. I did 10 interviews. I know this isn't right. Can you go back through, look through all these interviews and find the trend and find the comments that I need to be able to go to the executive level and say, hey, you're going to need to pay for a 40,000 I'm not gonna tell you the number, but a 40-hour redesign on this course if you want to work right, because it is jacked up and giving you, it's making your math people do the wrong stuff when they're out there.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you have foot stomps in there, I don't know if you guys know that term, but when they're just stomping the answers and saying that, like, pay attention to this because this is on the certification exam that's afterwards. That's not even training anymore. I mean, that's just trained to the test. And then you have people comment on that many times in the survey, and then you can say there was 27 comments that talked about foot stomps. Yeah, but I see a hand up. Go ahead and ask. Who was that? Roberto.
Yes, I have. How are you guys? I have a real quick question. First of all, Randall stole my question. My question was kind of similar than the one he's asking. He's asking what AI platforms you guys are using to create tables. My question was that you might share an AI search engine, which I really appreciate, but do you guys use like a specific AI tool or?
I use multiple because I can't trust them all the time. And so what I did is I ran the initial analysis, and I think that if you're doing proposals or you want writing better or some analysis, I find that Claude has a better writing engine than ChatGPT, but ChatGPT has both. And I don't have cable TV, so I guess I spend all my money on my AI subscriptions. So one's $20, the other one's $20, and you can get a one that goes through multiple of these too. But I run it through one, and then I run it through the other one. Yeah.
ChatGPT, or you say?
Claude is the other one. Claude AI. Claude. I'll put it in the search engine.
Never heard that.
Claude, I've got it down. If you scroll down or go to the next slide screen, the link takes you to number 6. Microsoft
Oh, I see.
Copilot
Yeah,
Labs.
yeah.
That's their prompting repositories, but it's the same thing. You can get to those.
Yeah, Claude is the other one. She already put it in there. So
yeah.
And ChatGPT does this better than Claude does. So if you ask ChatGPT to make the Excel table for you and make it a downloadable Excel table, it will do it. It'll do a Word document. It'll format the stuff for you. Everything will be done for you, which is very nice, especially if you have to pull things out quickly. And you can take the content from Claude, put it in a Word document, reload that Word document into ChatGPT, and have it tweak it for you. And if you know Python code, you can do even more stuff with the graphs.
Thank you.
And if you don't know Python code, ChatGPT can teach it to you in a simple way. It'll write the code for you. I'll tell you some stuff. I can tell you some more stuff if you want some more examples, but I'll stop. Any more questions, and I'll end with the other one.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Because I got a fun one after this one, which has started with a local thing. But we're over time, actually. Are we over time? No, we're close to over time.
We have 5 minutes.
Okay.
On ChatGPT, before we jump to the next thing, you can always go, you can see, these are annotations. Nicole, I don't know how to take that off the Zoom screen. I don't know the tool that clears all that. Anyway, on ChatGPT, if you go to Explore GPTs, these are custom created solutions that are designed and programmed for specific tasks. And some of them, like there's a Python one. The Canva logo creators, some of these are like professional companies, but then other people have created them as well. You can just search, scan through it. There are oodles and oodles of them. It seems like they're added to every day. So I've used some that are really great, and then I've used some that are pretty crappy. But it's still worth trying. And there's some in here that will help you to develop presentations and tables and graphics, graphics as well. Coding, I use those quite a bit because I'm not a coder. I never really had to work with code until I got the job that I'm in now. So, oh, this one is Coloring Book Hero. I want to try that one out.
And Hot Mods is great for pictures.
Yeah.
I love Hot Mods.
There's video creators. So you can always just look through that. The benefit of it is it's already been trained. So when you start with you could use ChatGPT without having any of that, but you just have to do a lot of prompting and explaining and describing. and trying to train it while you're getting your response. Might as well just use something somebody's already created, save yourself some time, so.
And if you do pay for ChatGPT, you can make, my friend calls it a mini me, where you can train it how to do your writing and your emails and load all that in. And then it'll have a little version of your own instance where you can say, make this in my voice. And that's very nice. I know this is getting way more advanced than some people might be at, but I will tell you, when you start playing with it, you'll have like a superpower that is very nice. I mean, I dropped something in there as a PDF. So the crazy thing I'm doing now is I'm doing local implementations for small businesses here on performance improvement with AI. And it came out of a lark where a friend of mine was opening a barbecue shop and told me he needed to train more people because he had long lines. Well, I wasn't getting paid for trying to figure out the problem for him, but I love him. So in less than 10 minutes of talking to ChatGPT, I came up with this little PDF here that I gave him that it's on the Miro board. And he implemented some of the stuff because it wasn't going to be a long solution, but he needed just to reduce the line or make people want to wait longer. It wasn't training more people was not going to solve his problem. Yeah. Because the line was only going to be long for a couple of weeks.
Well, you got 2 minutes. I'm not going to walk you through number 6. I would encourage you to look at AI, ISPI's AI for PI playbook. This is a new project, and they're putting some standards and principles, as well as giving tools for how to incorporate artificial intelligence in performance improvement, but a lot of it is applicable across the board. So take a look at that. I also got some additional resources. All 3 of these links, this is just prompt heaven. Those, take the ones you use. I've copied and pasted numerous of them that work really well. I'll save them. This is an activity we were going to do. This is an example of an advanced prompt. So you can see how I've asked this AI to take on a role of a career coach that's going to help professionals adapt to these technologies. And then I'm asking it to create an upskilling plan for me in performance improvement. And then I give it specific instructions on what areas to address. If I were doing this for me, I would ask it to put in a table format so that I could look and see the information really easily. But this is just one example of how you can craft a prompt. It's very specific and gives excellent information, and you'll get back what you want out of it. So this is one that you can take and plug in and use, and it'll do all of those things. Change it to, you may not want network building, you can make changes to it. Again, there's a lot of little resources, some courses, some articles, different things that you can look at. If you want to share with us, so that if you want to stay in touch, you can grab a name card, and put your name over there. More information here. Share. We didn't get time for Q&A, but if you have questions, we're going to hang out after this, so you're welcome to hang out and ask questions and talk to us. Or if you want to drop a Q&A question, and we'll email you with some resources or links or answers, or hopefully with answers. I don't know. But anyway, it is 7 o'clock, so you're welcome to stay or go. Yes, ma'am.
We do have one question in the chat. Connie, I want to make sure, you said where's the info you're showing? I want to make sure that we were able to show the info that you were looking for.
Yeah, and actually, thank you. Actually, I found it.
Okay.
Did you find it?
Yeah.
I
did enough searching around and found it.
Wonderful.
So,
Thank you. Yep, Lynn, I think that's all we've got. Nicole says, such great ideas. Thank you all for sharing your AI knowledge. I agree with that wholeheartedly. This has been awesome. It always inspires me.
The Miro board will remain. This is the board is for this event. So you can come back to it if you want to post stickies, if you find an amazing resource or tool or prompt or something, post it on there, because I will go back and check it, and I will take your ideas and put them in my little notebook. So I can keep up with all the cool things. Anything else? Anybody? I think
I have like a few questions. The first one is, Yulin shared a some prompts for education earlier. I'm not sure if that's your personal documents or that's something you can share with me somehow.
Yeah, it is, I'm using a tool called Notion.
Mention.
Notion, like I have a notion of something.
Gotcha.
A good friend at ISPI conference, she shared it with me because I was confessing I have too many irons in the fire and I can't find, I was trying to think of something witty to say, but anyway, I have too many things going on. I can't keep up with it. So she shared Notion and I created a Notion board with all that on there. I think I have it exported somewhere and I will send it. I can send it to you.
We'll appreciate that.
Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna look through the files if you guys wanna.
Yeah, I'd be interested
question.
too.
Okay,
Thank
let me
you.
look for that. If you guys wanna chat for a minute, I'll find it and I'll drop
Yep.
it.
Thank you. Thank you.
in the
Thank you.
chat. Mhm.
Another question that I have is I actually started working with Miro a little bit, but I'm not quite an expert yet. So I couldn't click on any single link there. And I'm super interested in some links, for example, the resources links and all the links that was there, but I don't know how to get those either. So I'm being a
Could we
pain.
just be,
Sorry.
no, sometimes when it's locked, it's another pet peeve of mine with Miro. If the box is locked, so it can't be moved around or changed, it makes it hard to click the link. So I just unlocked them, so now you should be able to just go and click it easily.
Robert, or Roberto, if you go to the top of the Miro and there's three bars there, if you can activate them, one of them will say show sliders. So that way, when you on the bottom and the side of the Miro, you'll be able to slide back and forth much more easy than before. That's if you can do that.
Thank you. Now my question is, how do I get access to that? Because I cannot see the Miro screen anymore.
It's a link further up in the chat box. You could click on it again. It'll probably show
Oh,
up.
I gotcha. Yeah, now I see it.
Yeah,
There
got
it is, yeah. And then you have to sign in with your name, I think.
Sign in with my name. And in order to see the links, you said that I should click on the three horizontal lines? No.
So if you go to the top three on right to the right of Career Cafe, one of the choices will be show sliders, like under view, I guess it's scroll bars. Under view, if you
I see.
click on view, you'll see a bunch of choices. One of the choices is scroll bars. And when you activate that,
Yeah.
Scroll
yeah,
bars is activated. It says activated.
yeah. And then when you do that, now you'll see on the far right and on the bottom, you'll see a gray bar. Now you can move back and forth and up and down very easily.
Mm-hmm.
That
Thank
really
you
is a difference.
so much for
Otherwise, it's very confusing.
Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, and I didn't know that. I've used Miro a lot. Yeah, because it's a little different. I mean, if you use your mouse wheel, you're going to go zoom in and out, and you have to right click to move your board around. So it takes
it
a little bit
overshoots
to
and,
get
yeah.
used to it. Okay, and Mike just shared the whole Fun Talk post workout in chat.
And I can have it do a summary, which would be better because it's a long talk. So I'll do that in a second.
Well, thank you. It was great. I'm bailing, so.
Have a great
See
night.
y'all.
It was good seeing
Thank
you.
you so much, everybody.
Awesome.
Thank you for
Goodbye.
taking from your time to do this. Awesome. It was awesome.
Yeah, I
Bye-bye.
really
I'm
enjoyed it.
going-
I had a lot of fun.
I'm gonna get that information for you all and just come back. Well, Nicole, we have emails, right? We can just email everybody, and then I'll put a link to it. I'll drop it in Google Drive, and then put a link to it here as well. But we'll email it. Make sure you get it.
Thank
Okay?
you.
Yeah,
All right.
Roberto, did you register? If you registered, we have your email address.
I think we have Roberto's. He's a member, so we've
Okay.
got him.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I think we've got
Great.
everybody.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Mhm.
much.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.
Everybody, have a good one.